Castro III.
Nauna ka.
Hindi, nakapitik na tayo.
Okay. Sige.
I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Welcome to a Brunch Wednesday edition.
Meron
And,
tayo.
raisin bread and of course...
Favorite mo to, raisin bread.
staple,
So may mga raisin.
Mahilig ako sa pasas eh. And lapel keyboard. Sino ba ako?
Ako,
Ikaw,
okay. So
okay.
ano yan? Ano yan?
Coffee.
Ang gulo mo, Diego. Ang umpisa pa lang tayo na
Sabi mo
magulo ka
raisin
na eh.
bread, I like raisins, and now I'm drinking my coffee because
Yes.
we're serving a news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Now, coming in fresh at the 10th spot is about Jane Veloso. The convicted Filipina in Indonesia is coming home. President Bongbong Marcos confirmed that the Philippines and Indonesia reached an agreement that will bring back Veloso back to her home country. PBBM expressed his gratitude to Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto for his goodwill. The president noted that Veloso is a victim of her circumstances. She was found guilty by Indonesian court of carrying 2.6 kilograms of heroin in her luggage in 2010. Veloso was sentenced to death in 2015, but was saved at the last minute after her recruiters surrendered to authorities.
Di ba pinag-uusapan natin the other day, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, oo.
Kasi nga, malapit na siyang mabitay doon sa Indonesia years
During the
ago.
Pinoy admin.
And during the Pinoy admin kasi, isa sa mga tactic, delaying tactic ika nga na ginawa nila, sakto din naman nahuli. Na
Yung recruiters.
yung recruiters surrender
We requested to Indonesian authorities to to delay the execution until after we get enough statement. So parang yung
Kasi
pagtanggap...
kailangan si Veloso dun sa kaso habang iniimbestigahan.
So and while we were in the process of taking a statement kay Jane Veloso, we were also filing multiple appeals sa Indonesia, may back-channeling discussion. Pero at that time kasi si President Widodo was a hardline, parang similar to Duterte, anti-drug ang campaign niya, known for being an iron hand in that scenario. Kaya medyo hindi tayo makausad with that regard. Pero we still had a delay. Pero ngayon yung nag-change ng leadership ng Indonesia, medyo mas magaang siya sa ganitong issues. We made headway.
Yes, oo. Yung pagbalik dito ni Jane Veloso, hindi naman kaagad uuwi siya sa bahay. No? I think she will finish her sentence pa dito. Kung ilan pa yun ang hindi pa natin alam. Kung kailan, hindi pa rin natin alam.
Kasi
Basta what I know kasi, her family was supposed to visit her this December.
Sa Indonesia kasi death penalty siya, firing squad.
Yes.
Pero dito, parang up to the discernment of Philippine court, sabi ni Indonesia, if papakawalan natin, may clemency. So ang route na baka tahakin ni Jane is magkaroon ng pardon.
Yes.
After serving a number dito.
Ilang years na rin kasi since this case broke out sa media, di ba? Mga 14 years if I'm not mistaken. Kaya
2010, she was sentenced to death.
Di ba nabanggit ko sa'yo, when she left home, yung mga anak niya was just what? 8 and 3 years old.
Correct.
Ngayon, they're 22 and 17 years old. That's how long she was gone na nakakulong doon sa Indonesia.
Well, this is at least some good news na
diba?
Nagkaroon ng second chance ang isa natin na kababayan. Diba?
And of course, yung recruiter niya hanggang ngayon nakakulong pa. 9 years na yung mga nakakulong yung mga recruiter niya. And magsilbing aral din ito. 'Di ba? Para sa lahat, like yung mga nagbabalak na mag-illegal recruitment agency.
Yung recruiter niya, pero yung gusto natin matuntun yung sino nagbigay ng actual drugs.
Yes.
Aside from the recruiter, meron bang yung mga dealer, yung mga syndicate?
It takes a village to do that That kind of, 'di ba? Yung scheme na yan.
Takes a city.
Oo, it takes a city.
A subdivision.
Pero good development yan kay para sa pamilya ni Jane Veloso. Kasi yan naman talaga yung hinihiling nila ever since, 'di ba? Okay, let's continue with our countdown. On our 9th spot, they emerged victorious against Meralco in a tune-up game on Tuesday. Gilas head coach Tim Cone fielded everyone from the 15-man pool except AJ Edu, Jamie Malonzo, and Calvin Oftana. The Bolts, meanwhile, were without Alain Maliksi, CJ Cancino, Brandon Bates, DJ Kennedy, and Chris Newsome, who was part of the Gilas pool. Cohn earlier said that a tune-up game would be part of their preparations ahead of their game against New Zealand and the FIBA Cup qualifiers.
We have been looking around. We might invite a PBA team to come on up and join and play us. We would prefer to play one game prior to meeting up with New Zealand.
Yun ang ating...
Naniniwala ka sa aliens?
Hindi. Sorry naman, Elaine.
Okay. Ginawa mo naman alien si Aline eh. Ikaw naman eh.
Pero kung good luck sa ating Di ba sila yung mga
Oo, yung
Gilas
Tall
Pilipinas
Blacks,
natin?
I think we beat them already before, yung New Zealand Tall Blacks. They're definitely taller than us on average height, pero skill-wise,
Mas okay ang Pilipinas.
sa huling qualifier, we beat already a European team.
Yes,
Rank.
oo.
So, may laban tayo. Especially now, we have several tall players in the lineup. So, let's see. And after yung New Zealand, kalaban natin is Hong Kong.
Next is Hong Kong pala.
Okay.
Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
On our 8th spot, get your jackets and heater ready because it is officially the onset of the northeast monsoon or amihan. Amihan has already affected Batanes where cloudy skies with rains are possible. Meanwhile, the shear line may cause rains over Babuyan Islands. Other areas may experience cloudy skies with rains like Cagayan Valley, Bicol, and the Davao region due to the easterlies.
Okay na.
The
Medyo
much
yung
awaited, the most awaited yearly event, Amihan.
Kaya nga di ba sabi nila may delay yung amihan, yung sunod-sunod yung 4 hanggang 6 na bagyo na dumating sa atin. Hindi na bago yung track ng direksyon or in essence hindi rin siya na-loser or nag-weekend because wala pa nga daw amihan.
Yung mga
Pero
post-
ngayon, ready na natin yung mga jacket.
Sabi nga, may mga nagpo-post sa social media, Philippines now turns on its aircon. Oo.
Tsaka yung mga magpapainit ng tubig kapag maliligo.
Oo. Hindi
Sa
ba
umaga.
ang average temperature kasi sa Central and dito sa NCR, pag amihan is between 20 to 26. Which is cold enough kasi 21 po ang standard setting ng aircon pag energy savers.
And kapag amihan, yung hangin nito nanggagaling
Siberia.
from Siberia.
Siberian winds.
Yes,
Oo.
kaya malamig siya. Okay, sige. So ready na yung mga jacket natin, tsaka mga pampainit
Ilabas
ng tubig.
na ang mga ugly Christmas sweater.
Kasi ito na ang Hanggang daw yan, ang peak niyan would be
January.
January and February.
The coldest is usually January.
Yes.
Oo.
I remember that, di ba, we would always eat
Baguio.
outside sa veranda natin kasi
O
malamig.
kaya punta tayo sa Baguio.
Pwede rin naman.
Tagaytay.
Pwede. Alright, coming up.
Baka may alien doon.
Coming up. What are the lawmakers' latest efforts in confirming the existence of a certain Mary Grace Piatos?
And for the first time, President Bongbong Marcos and U.S. President-elect Donald Trump had a conversation over the phone. What did they talk about? I wonder.
Sabi, House Imelda. Yun.
Baka
Sa-
sinabi
sa-
ni PBBM, wanna taste some piatos?
Hindi. Uy, Brando.
Ay, hindi. Mary
Pero
Grace Piatos ang
sabi
name.
daw niya, House Imelda, kasi alam naman natin, talagang
No, no,
magkaibigan yung parents niya eh.
And then, si Donald Trump used to attend parties in New York sa building na was bought by the Marcoses
Oo,
with the First
nirigalo
Lady.
ni
Ferdinand Marcos. Ferdinand Edelyn Marcos.
Late President Marcos Sr. kay First Lady.
Nagregalo ng building.
Trump Tower yun, di ba? O mamaya pag-usapan natin yan, babatiin din natin yung ating mga brunchies, mga usual suspects natin. We are just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. still watching Brunch here on One News. Happy Wednesday na
Happy
pala
Wednesday,
ngayon. Batiin ko
oo.
lang itong mga, as promised, yung mga usual suspects natin dito sa Brunch. We have Geraldine Balolong, who's always watching all the way from Bukidnon. Si Oscar, si Leonie Valdesoto, si Ronald Maxtay, si Summer Cabrera, si Tita Daisy, Tito Nito, and Tito Naldi nanonood din sa atin. Si VJ, si Ringo, si Ice, pares lang pala yun. Tsaka si Tasha and Marisol. Yung mga
At si Mina Beñales daw
Of
from our
course.
Jesse Mendez family. Si Jerry
Jerry
Young
Young.
from my C9 Chancellor 9000 family. Oh,
Dito naman
good
sa
morning.
YouTube, si Ralph Domingo, Migs Ebron.
Sam Pokemon
We have
Go.
Sam Pokemon Go. Si Mer Abad, Jetro Ray Pamplona. Reyes family. Kasama yan lagi ni family ni Susan. Oo.
Hello, hello, hello.
Who else? Sino pa bang nakalimutan natin? Kung meron kayong trivia about raisin bread, pakita nyo lang. Tsaka mga comments nyo dun sa mga issues natin for today.
Hulaan nyo kung ano yung top 1.
Oo nga pala, di na tayo mapahula kung anong top 1
Hula-hula.
natin.
Si Sam Pokemon Go, magaling dyan eh. Tsaka si Ralph.
Yes.
Oo.
Si Gary Field, nanonood din yan sa atin. Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Now on our 7th spot, President Bongbong Marcos visits Catanduanes to provide support to those who were affected by Super Typhoon Pepito. The President conducted an aerial inspection to see the typhoon's impact in the Bicol province. He also personally heard the concerns of the residents who are still reeling from Pepito. Almost 15,000 houses in Catanduanes were damaged because of the typhoon. Marcos assured residents that the government will prioritize the rehabilitation of damaged infrastructure in the province.
Nagbibigay po kami ng mga tinatawag mga building materials po, mga yero, mga 2x2, pati martilyo, pati pako. Magdadala po kami para kahit papaano masimulan ninyo ang pagpaayos ng mga inyong mga bahay.
Kasi alam
Oo.
naman natin, 'di ba, na sobrang grabe din yung inabot ng ng effects ng bagyo diyan sa Catanduanes.
Yeah, oo.
Isa sa mga areas talaga na badly hit, 'di ba? Catanduanes, Tuguegarao, Isabela, Albay, yan isa sa mga
Tsaka ulit si PBBM na tsaka tayo mag-rehabilitate when we see that medyo clear for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Ayan, medyo clear na. So,
medyo clear.
we can
Binibigyan
move.
daw sila ng building materials.
Yeah.
Pero yun nga, di ba, lagi natin
Right.
pinag-uusapan dito, mas maigi yung mga kababayan natin na nasa danger zone,
Yeah, oo.
ay ilipat na
Ilipat
sila,
na.
di ba? Kasi no use din naman yung bibigyan nyo sila ng building
This is
materials.
where
Tapos
the,
pag nagbagyo, masisira lang ulit
Yung
yun.
hazard map comes into play. Oo.
Yes, so importante yun. And kasi as of now, may mga areas pa rin na isolated dahil dun sa mga nag-uprooted na mga trees, nagtumbahang mga power lines. So yung iba hindi sila madaanan para mabigyan ng mga ayuda. So until now, yan yung mga nagiging problema pa rin. But hopefully, dun sa ibang mga areas ay within the week or two, maibalik na yung mga kuryente nila.
Yeah.
At tapos, syempre, problema pa dyan yung pagpasok muli ng mga estudyante dahil most of the schools also dun sa mga areas na yan ay badly hit din, di ba? Yung
Yeah.
mga libro, yung mga classroom, yung mismong paaralan nila na wala ng bubong, nasira, na talagang nabaha. So, isa yan sa mga dapat din i-rebuild.
Oh, pero sana this time when we rebuild, we don't use the same engineering design or architectural design. We make it more resilient against yung what is the common hazard na nararanasan ng isang area.
Exactly.
Oo, parang insert like for example in the US, pag sa bandang Texas, 'di ba? They have design specific for kung anong conditions ng weather. Pag dating mo sa California, iba. Pagdating mo sa Florida, iba, 'di ba? So
Kaya di ba yung bahay nila mostly yung maraming mga kapag dinadaanan yung state ng twister,
Yeah.
di ba meron silang mga basement dun sila
Oo,
tatago.
yung tawag nila, twister bay. Basta basement siya that's about 10 to 15 feet down. Tapos nakaipon sila mga dilata.
Oo.
At saka mga light na
For
independent
emergency
of
purposes.
electricity. May generator.
Totoo yan.
Oo.
Okay, sige. And also, yung pinag-uusapan din na lagi natin, di ba, kung hindi pa ngayon maililipat yung mga kababayan natin, yung maayos, di ba, at sturdy na evacuation
Yes.
centers, yun dapat din pa naglalaanan ng panahon. And of course, dun sa may, yung na-interview natin sa Tuguegarao, di ba,
Yeah.
si Mayor Tinke, sinasabi niya, yung regional dredging doon sa area, para pag dumating yung mga bagyo, di ba, hindi naman kaagad umaapaw, may space pa rin para ma-absorb.
Saka not
yung
only
tubig.
dredging sa kanila, but yung at the both sides of the
Yes,
river.
kasi catch
Oo.
basin sila eh, Cagayan
Oo.
River.
Kasi
and another
kahit
thing.
mag-dredging sila, pero yung exit areas ng tubig is makipot pa rin, useless daw. So
Yes.
dapat yung sa areas neighboring
Kaya nga
their
sabi
area,
niya regional dredging. Oo. Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Oh, ito pala. Meantime, the storms have spawned several inventions among Filipinos. That includes a so-called airboat, not just for recreation, but also for rescue operations. Para bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal, Merimon Reyes.
Iba't ibang klase ng bayanihan ang nakikita natin tuwing may bagyo. Mula rito, nabubuo rin ang mga imbensyong layong padaliin ang pagtulong gaya ng tinatawag na airboats na magagamit sa rescue operations. A boat with an electric fan that is for recreation and rescue. Ito ang pinakasimpleng explanation sa locally manufactured product na airboat ng Innovatronics, isang research and development company mula sa Anti-Pogo. Gawa sa fiberglass at stainless steel ang airboats at flat-bottomed kaya napapadali ang navigation kahit pa sa 1-inch na level ng tubig. Nasa itaas ang hélice nito kaya hindi raw kailangan mag-alala na maiipit dito ang debris na nakakalat matapos ang bagyo. Mayroon din itong gulong para sa pag-launch sa lupa. Taong 2021, kasagsagan ng pandemya nang maisipan itong buuin ng Innovatronics. Kasabay ng interes sa recreational boating, nabuo ang airboat na layong padaliin ang mga rescue and relief operations. Bukod sa paghahatid ng supplies, pwede pa itong magsundo at hatid ng mga lumilikas mula sa pagbaha.
Nakakapagod sa rescuers. Diba? Kasi sagwan ka ng sagwan eh. Ang term na ginagawa nila pag ano, nilalagyan nila ng outboard motor ang rubber boat. Pero ang problema ng outboard motor, dahil nasa ilalim siya ng tubig, sira na lahat ng hélice. Kasi nga tumatama. Pag tinamaan ka ng bato or pag nagre-rescue ka, kahit malalim yung lugar, dadaan ka muna sa mababaw, di ba? So doon tumatama yung mga hélice ng mga rubber boats.
Hanggang 6 ang kayang isakay ng airboats. Hindi pa ito maaaring gamitin sa karagatan kung saan mayroong strong currents. Pero pinag-aaralan na nila ang mga posibleng development nito. Mayroon na silang 3 hanggang 4 na units na i-release ngayong taon na nasa 700 to 800,000 pesos ang halaga. Umaasa silang maipagpatuloy ang paggawa nito para sa local recreational boating at maging sa community rescue.
The one person is priceless. How much is the cost of a human life? Diba? Yun yung kwento eh. You have to ask yourself, if you can save 3 people a year, sulit na ba o hindi?
Hindi na lang daw basta kaakit-akit dapat ang mga inobasyon. Dapat na rin isiping mabuti ang purpose nito, lalo na sa oras ng pangangailangan. Mobile journalist Merimon Reyes po, hatid ang muka ng balita.
Actually, yung airboat na yan, mga ganyan, ginagamit sa US yan, sa mga swamp. Oo, yung mga swamp patrol, yung mga policemen, if they're, di ba, nagsisearch sila sa mga, kunyari, mga escapee, mga convict, or may in-investigate sila mga murder within the area na may mga swamp. They don't
use
people.
that.
They use airboats because yung swamp is filled with soil, it's filled
I
with grass,
remember, oo.
it's filled with stone. So, pag yung, yung makina na sa ilalim, parang binanggit ni Sir, sumasabit. So that's why yung hélice na sa taas.
Totoo. Nakikita ko nga yan. Minsan
Oo.
sa mga news reports sila sa States at saka sa US. Pero maganda to sa atin.
Maganda, may gulong
We
pa.
really need that here.
So,
lalo na kung lagi tayo binabaha.
Oo, pag nasa land siya, may gulong siya, tignan mo. Pag nasa land siya, yung gulong ang gagamitin. Pagpasok sa tubig, iaangat
Hindi
lang.
pa siya sasabit dun sa yan. Tulad yan, dumadaan sa mga water lilies, di ba?
Yes. Kasi kawawa rin naman yung mga rescuers natin
Oo.
na sagwan pa rin ng mga iba eh.
Oo.
Although may mga...
Pero ibang mga areas, nakita ko yung gamit nila yung malalaking mga, hindi lang rubber boats, yung motor bangkas talaga.
Yeah, oo.
Hindi ko alam kasi tawag dun eh. Dun sa mga ibang nagre-rescue.
Yung problema lang kasi yung hélice na motorbangka na sa ilalim ng tubig.
Yung iba naman kasi ang problem nila, yung dadaanan.
Oh, yun
Kunyari,
nga.
mataas nga yung mataas yung tubig, pero makipot yung daan. So yung mga modernized sa mga motorbangkas natin, o yung mga pang-rescue talaga, hindi makakadaan.
Tsaka yung madaming debris. You have to remember, pagbaha, madaming debris sa tubig. So sasabit sa hélice pag nasa ilalim ng tubig.
Yeah,
yan,
oo.
That's why this airboat, yung makina nasa taas.
Ay,
Para
nakita nga ako,
tama.
if I'm not mistaken, sa Pangasinan ba yun? Or sa Isabela, ang ginawa nila, yung ano ba yun? Kalahati nung drum, ginawa nilang bangka para makanavigate dun sa baha. But anyway, so
Yeah,
magandang
airboat.
invention yan mula sa ating mga Pinoy.
Good
Gawang
job.
Pinoy, iba talaga. Pinoy. Moving over now to our next spot.
On our top 6, Senators Raffy Tulfo and Cynthia Villar figured in a heated exchange during the Environment Department's budget hearing. Tulfo grilled the DENR over the attendance of two alleged quarriers during an agency event in Rizal. The senator said that while they were present, people from Masungi Geo Reserve were supposedly not invited. Villar said Masungi representatives were invited but did not come to the event and that indigenous peoples groups were present.
My dear Senator, when the governor is inviting people, the DNR cannot stop the governor.
No, but
That's the reality of life in the Philippines. Like for me, if I am in Las Piñas and the mayor of Las Piñas will invite people.
no, ma'am. Kasi kung ako po ang nasa sitwasyon dyan at ako po ang secretary ng DNR, ako po ang may call kung sino yung mga guest na papasok. Pwede ko pong harangin yung mga taong ayaw kong papasukin regardless kung yan ay kasama ni governor.
Tulfo went to challenge the DENR and Villar to take a lie detector test. The agency eventually promised to provide a copy of the letter of invitation to Tulfo.
Kung gusto mo, magpaano pa tayo? Lie detector test,
Where?
polygraph test, para malaman kung sino sinungaling.
Oh, yan. O, di ba? Nung isang araw, ang naging kasagutan ni Senator Raffy Tulfo sa budget deliberation ng yung sa NIA Road. Si
yeah,
Senator
oo.
Amy
Yeah,
Marcos.
yeah.
Ito naman, budget deliberation para sa DNR, si Senator Cynthia Villar.
Yes, that's
Oo,
right.
Kasi nga yun nga, ini-insist ni Senator Villar, in-invite naman daw through Masungi Rock Agency Council ang Masungi.
Hindi lang sila
Sir,
nag-attend.
pero sinabi ng Masungi, nag-release sila ng statement. Wala naman daw sila. For the record, wala silang nare-receive na any invitation.
saan yung invitation na
Yun
yun,
na
ano?
nga, oo. Tapos yun nga, nagkakaroon pa sila ng yung isa sa mga heated exchange nila dyan, ay sinasabi ni Senator Villar, na sabi niya, let's go back to history. Hindi daw po pwede yung ganun because hindi daw socialized housing yung ginawa ng Masungi, but they built a resort instead. Di ba, nagiging issue din yan, nasabi na mataas daw yung sinisingil ng Masungi, ganyan-ganyan. Kasi ikakat nila yung partnership, yung pact supposedly ng government to Masungi.
Tsaka yung development na yan kasi supposedly will hit a watershed. Sinabi ng Masungi yun they featured a documentary na may matatamaan na watershed which is critical kasi alam mo naman pag tinatamaan mo ang watershed, nagkakos ka ng flood sa areas that are connected to that watershed.
Exactly. If you can remember, months ago, if I'm not mistaken, isa si Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, oo, sa Masungi.
Ang nag-post, diba, ng support about Masungi River.
If you remember, nagka-issue rin yan, I think that was last year, about yung sa Bilibid Prison.
Yes,
Dapat
oo.
na
Tinigil nila yun,
Tinigil nila yun. Because they own a portion of the land sa area na yun. Remember, may title pa nga daw eh.
Yes.
Oo,
Gagawin nilang part of ililipat yung mga inmates.
Pero naging controversial, so hindi naman hindi na tinuloy totally, pero tumahimik yung issue.
Oo. Yung mga leaders ng Masungi nga na-feature sila sa time parang feature generation leaders.
Di ba meron tayong mga mga forest...
Sila Ana.
Di ba? Forest rangers na nagbabantay dyan. Oo, saludo sa kanila that they're trying their best despite of being under-equipped.
Oo.
Daw.
Minsan punta tayo dun.
Minsan,
Sir
oo.
Gio. Doon tayo mag-brunch. Pakita natin yung Ayaw niya.
Hindi, gusto ko doon.
Gusto mo dapat. Oo. Doon ka lang sa baba. Alright, again. Let's continue with our countdown. Settling at the fifth spot are the Anti-Pogo bills. 4 bills aiming to ban Pogo operations have passed the committee level. The House Committee on Games and Amusement have approved the 4 anti-Pogo bills yesterday. They aim to put more teeth to President Bongbong Marcos's executive order of shutting down all Pogo operations. Lawmakers argue that the executive order is not to meet its goal.
According to the statement of the President, if I read it, he stated clearly that the provisions of the Executive Order number 74 are complete. Ang issue lang dito is, can an executive order amend an express provision of law?
Lawmakers are also proposing the withdrawal of Pogo-related license granted by Special Economic Tourism and Freeport zones. Meanwhile, PAGCOR pleaded to congressmen to exempt special class business process outsourcing from their proposed ban. This as reports surfaced that some Pogos are operating under the guise of being a BPO company.
Special class of BPO is an emerging model that merits exclusion from the ban, given that it operates similarly to BPOs at the core, and it is only special since it provides support services to gaming, which is a highly regulated industry.
I think isa kasi ito sa mga need din nating mas busiin pa, kasi nga kung nabanggit po ay ito ay emerging na type, di ba? Offshore din siya, pero hindi siya parang kagaya ng mga kung paano yung Pogo talaga sa ngayon. So, kung saan po natin i-draw yung line, ano yung mababan talaga, ano yung hindi.
Ito yung discuss natin a number of times na may mga BPO that are similar na kinakabahan na baka madamay sila. For context lang kasi, ang ginagawa ng mga BPO na to, they're not the actual Pogo operations, but they provide back-end support. Meaning, for example, yung IT ng mga ibang Pogo or ibang gaming, online gaming, naka-outsource sa kanila. Yung tech support, no, naka-outsource sa kanila. Diba? Kung may help desk, naka-outsource billing, inquiry, diba? Pay in and pay out, naka-outsource. Pero the actual Pogo operations, sa Pogo yun. So yan ang sinasabi nila na, teka lang, let's define it carefully because ito, legal to, madaming madadamay dito.
Oo, yung mga BPO industry natin. Pero yun nga, yung tungkol dun sa sa Anti-Pogo bills, mainam nga na magkaroon na ng ganito.
Yes, oo.
If I'm not mistaken, nabanggit din ito ni Senator Joel Villanueva, 'di ba? Let's be fair, nabanggit niya yan nung pagkatapos ng ng SONA ni PBBM, 'di ba? Last July, dahil nga sabi niya ipapaban niya until December, there was no EO. So sabi niya mas maigi na magkaroon tayo ng batas para if ever na, alam mo yun, magpalit ng administrasyon, di ba? Ando doon yung batas. Hindi limited doon sa
admin,
executive order.
and subject to renewal or revocation by the next president.
And I can remember before, sinasabi doon ng ibang sa mga sources na nai-interview na inaantay nga daw nila talaga yung executive order, pero sinasabi ng DOJ, no need for executive order kasi basta sinabi ni Pangulo na sarado to by December. Siyempre, iba na rin yung in writing, black and white,
correct,
diba?
correct.
Kasi ang hirap ng puro lip service lang kasi baka mamaya nga hindi naman matupad yan.
We have to remember, nung panahon ni PRRD from Pinoy to PBBM, may mga radical shifts in foreign policy.
Yes.
So it's better na we put everything in writing into a law para hindi magkaroon ng confusion kung ano yung interpretation ng next admin.
Oo. Tsaka
Para malinis lahat.
Meron ako nabasa dito yung lawmakers are also proposing the withdrawal of Pogo-related license granted by Special Economic Tourism and Freeport Zones. Kasi sinasabi din nila na merong parang gray zone doon sa gray area doon sa sinasabi nga daw ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa pagban ng mga Pogos, kasi apparently yung mga Freeport and economic zones like CESA, ganyan, are still enjoying some degree of autonomy pagdating nga daw dito sa mga Pogo.
Case in point, you have,
they are able to issue their own visas.
yes, because you have to, case in point, Subic has its autonomy kasi that's a Freeport zone. Cagayan, that's another, Clark is another Freeport zone.
So it's good that you mentioned yung Cagayan, nabanggit ko rin yan kanina, yung CESA, Cagayan Economic Zone Authority. Meron din kasi meron daw silang sariling IGLs. So, yung nagpapatakbo niyan ay si Katrina Ponce.
Meron pa yung SBMA,
Subic
Bay
yun
Metropolitan
pa.
Authority.
So,
Clark
maganda,
Freeport
malilinaw dun sa batas kung eto bawal ba to, may autonomy ba silang sarili, or pati sila kasama dun sa ban.
Or in general, the batas will cover all gambling naka-outsource dito sa Philippines, Pogo in general.
Kasi ngayon, 'di ba, yung ibang mga binago nila yung pangalan sa Pogo, 'di ba? Yung hindi na
IGL.
Pogo, IGL na. So, dun sa batas nakalagay Pogo. Pag nakakita ka pa ng operating ng mga casino, sabi na illegally, sabi, hindi, IGL to
IGL to.
Hindi naman to Pogo So, dapat i-define.
By definition kasi, yung initial definition of Pogo, ang Pogo ang the actual operation of the gambling.
Yes.
Oo, pero ang yung back source, so yung sa BPO, hindi actual operation. Pag in support of, dapat hindi natin pakialaman yan because hindi naman sila engaged in gambling. They're just providing the back-end support.
Yes.
IT, help desk, troubleshooting, iba
Kaya
po
if you can
yun.
remember, nung last few weeks ago, yung mga isang supposedly na raid ng PNP, na BPO, tapos pinipilit ng BPO na hindi kami Pogo, hindi
Yeah,
kami
yeah.
Pogo. So yun, dapat imbestigahan din yun. Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Coming in at our top 4, a House panel will coordinate with the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, to verify the identity of Mary Grace Piatos. Here's the report.
House lawmakers are ramping up their efforts to verify the identity of Mary Grace Piatos. It was among the names that appeared in the Office of the Vice President's acknowledgement receipts for confidential funds. Aside from a ₱1 million reward for those with information regarding Piatos, the House Committee on Good Government will also coordinate with the Philippine Statistics Authority.
Tinitingnan pa namin yung ibang mga pangalan. Baka mamaya meron pang mga binabanggit ninyo. So at least isang pasadahan na lang.
Lawmakers suspect that Mary Grace Piatos and other names in the receipts do not exist. That's why they will also consult with a handwriting expert to examine the signatures.
Yung stroke, kung paano pinirmahan ito, ay isa lang. Tapos pati po yung ballpen na ginamit, isang tinta. Kinukonsider na rin po namin yung mga penmanship para ma-submit sa mga expert witness.
Still, lawmakers hope that Vice President Sara Duterte will attend the hearing to answer their questions. Duterte earlier said she will no longer attend the hearing on confidential funds.
She was able to arrive last week. We expect her to come tomorrow. Even though she said na hindi siya darating, we hope she'll arrive tomorrow. Kahit may sworn affidavit siya, she loses her chance na mas mabigyang linaw yung mga issue na ito. Kung meron naman siyang, kung kaya naman niyang ipagtanggol ang sarili niya, she should come.
Oh, di ba yung sinabi ko sa'yo kahapon, check nila sa PSA kung meron talagang ganung pangalan na nakarehistro.
Oh, Mary Grace Piatos.
Oo. So right now, ayun, from then on, ma-eliminate mo yung mga ano, di ba?
Actually, interesting. If hindi mag-reflect sa PSA yung name, that means hindi totoo yung tao.
Totoo.
Pero, that's why I said it's interesting is because yung signature daw, we're all consistent with the same pen and with the same writing. It's either may ano kayo.
Nag-a-alias siya.
No, it's either, kasi consistent eh. Usually, pag fake signatures, hindi consistent masyado yan eh. So, baka may stamp yan or it's the same person like a Velarde. Remember yung Velarde signatures to ERAP? Similar to that.
Kaya alam niya na siya di ba, at a certain point, ako si Mary Grace Piatos, etong pirma ko. Ganun. So, kaya nga sila nag-offer daw ng 1 million eh. Baka naman merong makapagtuturo na sa one time or another, naka-encounter nila itong si Mary Grace Piatos. Ba't ganun yung pangalan?
Ha? Mary Grace Piatos?
Oo. Tuloy na nabibigyan ng ng publicity.
May lumabas pa nga namin, nakita ko, kaibigan daw ni Mary Grace Piatos si Hindi, joke to.
sino?
Bicat Pretzel.
Ay nako, brand na yan.
Hindi,
palagot ka
may
na.
lumabas talaga ng meme. Hindi,
Oo nga, pero yun nga. So, like what I've said
seriously,
yesterday,
oo. We should
PSA, tignan, di ba kahapon ko pa yung sinasabi, tignan na sa PSA, meron mo nakaregister na ganyan ng pangalan.
the question is, what if wala nga pero consistent ang signature?
Nga sabi ko, tignan mo nila, eliminate mo yung other sources mo ng di ba? O to, pag PSA wala,
paano kung wala nga sa PSA pero
Ay
pala
nako,
signature?
kung wala siya sa PSA, fake siya.
Paano
Kasi
kung
imposible.
nandun?
Or unless sabihin na naman, late registration parang kay Alice Gu. Di ba?
Wow.
Ang hirap diyan kasi, well, yung naalala mo isang chief of staff ni Vice President Sara Duterte na kasama sa ILBO ng immigration, nakabalik na daw from the state.
Okay.
So, hopefully, makapunta rin siya sa hearing.
Kung kilala nila si Mary Grace.
Oo, at para 'di ba, once and for all, sino ba si Mary Grace Piatos, 'di ba? Ba't siya nakapirma dun sa yung mga resibo na yun, pinasa yan sa COA ha. At ibig sabihin yun yung talagang mga transaction nila within the office of the Vice President. So, hindi yung biro kasi kung talagang isipin mo kung talagang Mary Grace Piatos yung ginamit lang nila, ang lakas naman ng loob. Alam nila, hindi kami titignan kasi Office of the Vice President.
Nag-submit ka ng mga resibo pero fake.
No, 'di ba?
Okay, don't go away. We're not done yet. May tatlo pa tayo. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Oo, sabi ni Gary ko, nagulat. Napa-oo ka daw bigla. Doon sa sinabi ko, doon tayo sa Masumi mag-brunch. Napa-oo ka daw bigla.
Yan ang maganda pag lamang ka ngayon dahil alam mong
Ano?
may allergy ako. So,
allergic ka.
I cannot contest anything you say.
Okay, very good.
mas-
Kahit naman wala kang allergy, hindi mo makokontest.
Pwede mo na ako lagyan ng kwelyo tsaka ng leash ngayong araw.
Alright, let's continue with our countdown. A thrilling news at top 3. Defense Secretary Gibot Teodoro fired back at China's statement about our recent military intelligence deal with the United States. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Li Jian said no military deal should cause more tension in the region. He insisted that no country should influence any members of the region when it comes to regional peace and stability. In response, Teodoro said China should not interfere in a deal between two allied countries.
If you weren't paranoid, you wouldn't comment about it, so far as I'm concerned, because it is something bilateral to the United States and the Philippines. Our main theme of cooperation here, aside from being treaty allies, stands for upholding of international law and the fundamental and the values of freedom and democracy.
Oh, di ba?
Oo, because
Matindi yun. Paranoid. Ano
That's
sabi
right.
niya?
Kasi yung negotiating table now favors China because if you leverage military and economic might, labang sila doon. But if our ties with the US are deepening in terms of, let's say, aside from yung Typhoon missile systems na ilalagay dito, di ba? Number one, that's leverage. The second leverage now is we're sharing critical intel information with the US, military information, which gives us access already to info, which the US has one of the best intelligence agencies in the world. Diba? It gives us access to troop movements within the area in the Indo-Pacific region. That's another leverage.
Oh, and then we can also...
And we have all of this at our disposal. Then siguro a few more steps siguro and a few more pieces of support from different yung mga allies natin. Pag umupo tayo sa negotiating table with China, then maybe, just maybe, they will listen.
Totoo. Hindi kasi, di ba, magagamit din natin ito, like, pagka may mga, well, hopefully nga sana wala na, pero hindi naman natin may iwasan yung mga encounters sa West Philippine Sea, like yung, di ba, yung may naputulan na daliri doon, tapos yung mga aborted resupply missions
Pati yung
natin.
isang boat natin na nabutas.
Oo. So, in essence, magkakaroon tayo ng clearer video copy or photos ng mga yan via satellite image
Parang,
ng ano.
para
ng
sa
US.
international community, hindi na he said, she
Oo,
said. Oo.
Kasi ang nangyayari kasi, di ba, okay, tayo, magpapalabas tayo ng balita natin, ito yung ginawa ng China,
Tapos
hinarang
papalabas
kami.
sila ng version
Tapos
nila.
papalabas sila ng version na, hindi, ang Pilipinas ang
So
ang nag-trespass,
So now if we
aggressive
have
sila.
unedited and raw footage, ayun, makikita ng buong mundo if we choose to release it, ito ang talagang nangyari. Buo. Decide for your own selves.
Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
On our top 2 is about the U.S.-Philippine defense ties. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin reaffirmed their commitment to the security of the Philippines. He said this during his visit to Palawan with Defense Secretary Gibot Teodoro. Our defense chief reiterated the need for the U.S.'s presence in the region amid the escalating tension between the Philippines and China in the South China Sea. Austin downplayed worries regarding the two countries' relationship once U.S. President-elect Donald Trump takes the White House.
I won't speculate on what the next administration will do. What I can tell you is what I know. And what I know is that I've seen strong support for the Philippines in both parties in the United States.
Kaya nga, di ba tinatanong nila, baka naman magbago yung kasi paalis na si Austin, di ba, ahead of the, ito nga yung pagkatapos, pagpasok ni President-elect Donald Trump. Tapos ang kanyang in-appoint doon sa papalit kay Austin ay si, yung dating what's his name? Rin siya, very vocal din siya against China.
Yeah.
Dati
Actually,
siya, broadcaster din
if you
siya.
look at the cabinet of President-elect Trump, it's more on karamihan sa kanila
Dating
belong to
broadcaster
the
now, Senator.
they belong to the MAGA movement,
Yes.
and most of them are share of the same vision of President Trump na most of them are anti-China also. But wag sila matakot mga Pilipino because George Bush before Barack Obama was a Republican. And nag-shift from a Republican to Obama. And Obama was a Democrat, and Obama back to Trump, who was a Republican. If you see in those periods, wala naman radical shift in foreign policy tayong nakita with regards to the US. We maintain a relationship. Nagkakaroon po lang ng difference in regards to aid, let's say, sa PNP, aid, what form of aid ang ibibigay sa akin as military? Will it be in software? Will it be hardware? Will it be skills upgrading? Yun lang naman ang magiging issues natin. But in terms of general policy and direction, hindi po mag-iiba yun.
Totoo. Kaya di ba sinabi nga niya na itong US and PH relationship, transcend naman yan over different administration.
Yeah, we've had several admins in the US na shift Republican to Democrat, Democrat to hindi naman nagkakaroon ng major differences. Oo.
Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Our top story for today is President Bongbong Marcos and U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. The two leaders called each other recently and discussed the relationship of our countries. Did they also talk about the possible deportation of illegal Filipino migrants or immigrants in the U.S.? Let's find out in this report.
A very good productive call. This is how President Bongbong Marcos described his recent call with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. In an ambush interview in Catanduanes, Marcos said their call focused on the alliance between the U.S. and the Philippines.
Patuloy namin pinag-usapan ang samahan, the alliance between the United States and the Philippines, and I expressed to him our continuing desire to strengthen that relationship between our two countries, which is a relationship that is as deep as can possibly be, because it has been for a very long time.
The president said he highlighted the Filipino community's support to Trump in the U.S. presidential elections. In his presidential campaign, Trump vowed that he will implement the biggest mass deportation in the U.S. history. So did Marcos and Trump talk about the 300,000 illegal Filipino immigrants in the United States?
We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about it. It was just a congratulatory call. But of course, our ambassador is already working on that.
But what they did talk about was the president's mother, former First Lady Imelda Marcos. Marcos said that Trump is closer to Imelda than to him.
Ang kaibigan niya talaga, mother ko. Kilalang-kilala niya yung mother ko. Kinukumusta niya how is Imelda? Sabi ko, binabati ka nga.
PBBM is planning to meet Trump personally in the White House in the future. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
Kaya nga sinasabi ng ibang analyst na if akala because PRRD, former President Rodrigo Duterte had somewhat of a speaking relationship with President Donald Trump kasi pareho silang type of president. Authoritarian rhetorical presidents, diba? But madaming sasabi, nagkakamali ka because yung ties ng Marcos family with the Trump family
dates
back to the 80s. So, same parties, purchase of land, of building, madami silang
yun
interaction.
Yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, diba? Yung regalo na Trump Tower.
Nagka-issue yun eh.
Pero wala na ata sa kanila.
Wala na. But there was an issue about that kasi the building was bought, di ba? Tapos may parang mali sa paperwork or something like that. But it happened in the 80s. And in fact, PBBM remembers seeing President-elect Donald Trump sa several gatherings, dinners, and parties sa New York at that time. They've seen each other, but si PBBM was a younger man at the time.
And then also, tinatanong nga nila kung ano pa yung mga napag-usapan doon. Pero sinabi nga ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, merely congratulatory lang yung conversation. Pero hindi naman niya kaagad mabibring up yung tungkol sa mga immigrants natin
because
sa Pilipinas. Dahil may issue ng deportation.
Because protocol states, pag mga call na ganyan, keep it light and keep it simple. Unless the President-elect brings up an issue that needs to talk about, then you can talk about. Otherwise, merely congratulations and hi and hello.
Kaya sabi niya, hopefully I can visit you, di ba, sa White House, siguro pag...
And precisely, kaya nga meron tayong mga embassies and foreign affairs departments, kung ano yung mga issues that need to be fleshed out. doon nila pag-uusapan through the department and the agencies, not through the initial, habang hindi pa siya nakaupo, si President-elect Trump.
So doon sa issue nga na kinakabahan yung mga illegal immigrants sa mga Pilipino kasi napakalaki, isa tayo sa mga maraming mga 'di ba immigrants doon sa US, sa mga Pilipino. At nakikita natin yung sinabi nga ni President-elect Donald Trump, nagagamit siya ng militar to impose daw yung mass deportation. There are two schools of thoughts, 'di ba? Sinasabi nila na hindi naman po pwedeng gawin ni Donald Trump kasi hindi po pwede yung mga military ang enforce noon. But meron silang sinasabi na Insurrection Act of 1807 ng United States. Well, that empowers the President of the United States to deploy the US military and federalize National Guard troops within the United
Yun ang keyword
States.
doon. He's not going to use the Marines or the Army per se. He will use the National Guard or the Federal Guard. Ngayon, kung napapanood niyo po ang designated survivor, di ba? May State Guard, may National Guard, meron yung military. May control ng President over the National Guard. So, yun ang pwede niyang gamitin with regards yung sinabi mo. But number two, maganda rin yung pinoint out ni political pundit Ronald Llamas. No, I like his
Yes.
I like his yung pinoint out niya. Na sinabi niya, he doubts that it will be really a mass approach because number one, alam ni President Trump, yes, and President-elect Trump has mentioned this, that a lot of Filipinos are working in several of these companies, play a critical
blue-collar
critical jobs na hindi pwede.
Diba yung mga taga-kolekta ng basura, diba?
Most jobs na inaayawan ng mga puti, ang mga Amerikano mismo.
Na pag kinuha mo yan sila, sino gagawa?
So feeling ko parang okay, they will give the Filipinos or enough of the working class, basta wala ka naman history of crime or hindi ka naman na charge of crime, they will give you time to try to legalize your papers.
So yun that's the keyword there. Yung wala kang history ng crime kasi ang sinasabi nila, ang uunahin dyan most probably,
Criminals.
yung mga nagsisik ng asylum, yung mga may criminal history.
Actually, if you listen to rhetoric ni President Trump during the campaign, he has mentioned a number of times there's illegal immigrants who perpetuate crime. He always used the words illegal immigrants and crime. So if you read into that, that means he is keen on first deporting those who have committed crimes na paulit-ulit and are illegal. Number two, talagang kabahan ka regardless of the president if you're an illegal immigrant in the US because the immigration, the INS will always look out for you. Pag may mag-report sa'yo, deported ka regardless of that. It's just that you have a president who will really act on it this time around.
O kaya nga, diba sinasabi ni Ambassador Babe Romualdez, yung unang niya, naging pahayag na, yung mga Pilipino natin dyan, huwag nyo nang antayin na mahuli pa kayo, umuwi na kayo. Medyo napulaan siya dun sa, sa statement na yan. At nabawi naman, sinasabi niya, by all, diba, the government will, exert effort in helping yung mga kababayan natin na maka-attain ng citizenship legally.
Pero lininaw nila yon ha? When the initial discussions that these illegal immigrants will have sa embassies will not be automatic na tutulungan ka mag-legalize. They will look at your case daw kung kaya.
Yes.
Kung kaya. Pag hindi kaya, then they will suggest na umuwi ka na lang voluntarily. Pero kung kaya ayusin yung papers mo, they will not provide you with the lawyers, but they will provide you with assistance kung saan ka pwede maghanap ng abogado. Ganun daw sinabi nila.
Kaya nga 'di ba sinasabi, ano ba ngayon, ano bang gagawin namin? Mas kumuha na ba kami ng ngayon ng US citizenship habang nandito pa si Biden? Basta ang importante, ma-achieve nyo yon legally.
Yan ang sinabi ni Trump, we want to encourage, di ba remember his speech? He wants to encourage people to come in, more people to come in, and he used the word but legally. And if you would ask a number of the Filipinos who migrated there, nagpakahirap kumuha ng green card, went through the process of not going home. Kasi di ba pag nagpa-file ka ng petition for green card sa US, hindi ka makaka-uwi. You have to wait for it to be released Kung hindi, you may lose it Nagpakahirap sila doing that. So parang ang sinasabi nila, kami, we did it legally, why can't the others do it legally? And yet, they're consuming resources the same as us. Yun lang naman ang punto
Kasi
nila.
ang isa din sa mga tinitignan nila dyan, yung mga illegal immigrants na nanganak doon. Tapos, syempre, di ba ngayon, doon sa current law nila, DACA, if I'm not mistaken, di ba, sa current law nila, kapag ipinanganak ka doon ng kahit illegal immigrant, magiging US citizen ka. syempre kapag daw yung illegal immigrant na parent na yon na deport, mahihiwalay siya dun sa sa anak niya na nasa.
That's why they're saying they're taking a look yung bagong appointee nila, taking a look na what if we don't accept kasi nanganak ka doon you gave birth as an illegal immigrant, it follows dapat yung offspring mo should not also be in an immigrant, should be tagged illegal. They should check that out.
So ayun, so marami tayong mga na.
Yes, thank you. Madami tayong natalakay today. Daming issues, very diverse. For once, hindi natin nakusap ng Pag-asa. Medyo clear. Pahinga muna kayo, Pag-asa.
Pero si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos when he visited yung Catanduanes, 'di ba? This time actually last year and the other year yung first year niya, 'di ba nasa ibang bansa siya.
Nag-aerial inspection pa siya, 'di ba, when he was here?
Pero ibig ko sabihin ngayon, nandito siya to check on our kababayans kasi the last time napupulaan siya dahil pupunta siya dun sa mga yung sa Singapore, 'di ba? Formula 1 ba yun if I'm not mistaken. Tapos yung mga naka-schedule ngayon ng mga summit, G-Summit, Asia Pacific Cooperation, yung mga APEC, iba yung mga pinadadala niya ngayon.
Parang before we go, parang napulaan siya because he was out of the country before during the bagyo. And now nung nag-aerial inspection sa Catanduanes, it's all over yung X platform, Twitter. Ano naman nagagawa? Parang may nagsabi ng mga netizen, ano ba nagagawa ng aerial inspection mo lahat? Saan ka ba lulugar? Diba? Nandito ka na nga, gumagawa ka ng trabaho mo, aerial inspecting, napulaan ka, umalis ka, napulaan ka, diba? Parang may masabi lang. Let's, at this point, saka na tayo magtulungan muna tayo and help yung mga kababayan natin that need help. And then, if you want accountability, then let your ballots do the talking. Malapit na po ang eleksyon.
Let your ballots.
That's the most constructive way to help our country.
Mag-quote ka na.
And with that, I'd like to leave everyone a quote to start your day right. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. A quote from Babe Ruth. At kahit may allergy ako, tinuloy ko ang programa.
Congratulations sa'yo. Good job. That'll do. That wraps up today's episode of Brunch. Ikaw naman dyan, palit tayo. Join us again tomorrow, Angela Lagunsad Castro. He is Angelo Castro III. We are What News, all sides, all the time.